All right, so we're just after mile 10, heading west on Charleston Road. This is where we're gonna wanna turn in here to get to this summit, right here by these big power pole 538. We're gonna come in here, and the summit that we want is over that way. So we're gonna head down the trail here. Always interesting stuff. They're all mines all through here. It's pretty neat. And people obviously dumping garbage. That's always something you'll see, but driving through this area, you'll see ruins of different things, because remember, this is all like a big town. Had a bunch of people that lived out here, so there's stuff everywhere. It's pretty interesting if you're into the Old West and the artifacts and all that have to do with it. So this is the summit here, W7A CO-170, and just for reference, right on the other side of this mountain are the old mills from the town of Millville, and then Charleston would be across the river. That's just on the other side over there. It's a pretty easy hike. I've done this will be my third time doing it. I was the only one doing it for a while, but somebody else beat me. Somebody else got here this year. It's a nice hike. I love this area. We hike it quite a bit. But anyway, we're gonna head on up. So we're at the base, and you can see there's a pretty deep sort of ravine there. It's not worth it to go down and then up, so I'm just gonna go up and around. I'm gonna stop up there at that mine, get some video of that, and then I'm gonna head up to the saddle and then up. It's the easiest way to go. So here we are. This is an old mine shaft. These aren't really a good idea to muck around, but you can see, if you look down in there, starts here, goes, whoa, yeah. It's been filled in, at least I forget what they call this, an adit or whatever, but it's been filled in here. And there you'll find these sprinkled all around these mountains out here. Always good to be careful, because even though they've been filled in, if they have long shafts and things that go deep into the mountain, it can still subside wherever those shafts are. So it's really not a good idea to mess around with those. Anyway, the reason that I pointed out the shaft, in addition to them being cool, is that I'm past the big ravine, and so now I can work from here. It's a good launch point to get up there and head on up. That's what I'm going to do. I'm in the saddle. You can see that peak to the, what is it, southwest, peak to the northeast. That's where we're going. That's the summit. So it's pretty rocky, but if I remember right, it's not too difficult. Take your time. So that's where we're going. So we're about the halfway point between where I was and the summit. You can see down here, just after this stand of rocks, the other, that's the saddle. So I haven't been keeping track, but I'll have a total time once I get to the top. So we're just about at the same level as that little peak over there where we are right now. So I don't know, a couple hundred feet, we'll see. So this is the top we're about to crest. So I don't remember there being any false summits here. I think this is it once we get over it. No, that's it. And we're at the top. And I'm going to set up right in here. Perfect. Let's see how long the hike took. It took me about 45 minutes to get up here. Not too terrible. So you can see I'm right at the top on there, within that ring. It's 4628, and I'm within the 4593, or so I'm within the 80 feet. So we're good, and this isn't as accurate as a GPS. The GPS puts me right in the middle. Just as a reference, I'm actually right within I'm at the very top. There's no point higher than this, and I'm gonna set up right here, put my mast and stuff over behind me. But the app shows that I'm at somewhere like 80 feet off, or not 80, but I'm right at the 25 or 40 foot mark from the center. Shows me it, well, it was 4625930313. So it shows me 30 feet off of the summit, and I'm sitting here right at it. I'm gonna sit in the shade over here because the sun will be coming up, and I'm gonna set everything up and do my thing from here. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is set my mast and my antenna up. I don't know how much of this you can actually see, but I have this, I think it's about a 20-foot mast. I don't remember the meters. And I bought a few of these. I think at the time they were like $8 or $9, but they work perfect for what I'm doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that up. Now I've gone through a whole thing of antennas, from homemade buddy poles, buddy sticks, all of that, dipoles, you name it. I've tried it for these type of operations, and I found that the one I like the most is the end-fed halfway, or even end-fed randoms. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this up here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set the mast up here. I'm gonna run it over to there, keep the in the tree, and then just loop my coax around. Now if that's not far enough, and it may not be, I'll go to that other tree, and I should sit on the other side. The problem is trying to use a phone when you have the sun right in your face. It's kind of a pain. So let's do this part. So you'll see in some of my other videos, I actually put the wire, I hooked it into this fishing swivel on the top. Just through trial and error, I've stopped doing that. It's just not a good thing. It bends the pole, and it's just easier to just go ahead and, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. To just put it over this. You can get it, if I'm smart enough to get it through there, and then just run it down to a spot on here, to a spot on there where you can actually just get that loop around it. So you're going to lose a couple feet, but it doesn't really matter that much. So now I'm just going to go ahead, and all I do with these typically, if I can, is I'll just Velcro them to a tree or whatever's up here. It makes it easier than putting in guy lines and all that. I mean, if you're going to spend a lot of time out here, I try to do this efficiently. I like to make it like a mission, like I'm trying to get something done, and I just will do it that way for that reason. So I'll just go ahead and stick it in this tree. Then I have this, this is the Velcro that I transport with. I strap these in because and so I use that to attach the so I have the mast attached right there, and you can see it goes up to my wire. Now we're going to see how far that un goes. All right, so it looks like I might want to, and if I don't have enough distance, what I'll do is I will use my hiking poles to as something to keep this off the ground. So there we go. So now my un is in the tree. Now I made these and they work just as good, but I bought this from the Emergency Response EAR CHI out of Hawaii, and it works pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and use it until, I don't know, it breaks or I want to do something different. But anyway, so now I just have to attach my coax, and I have somewhere like between 33 and 35 feet here of this coax. So I'm sure there are optimal amounts, but this works. I had some issues on my last activation. I don't know, still trying to iron out what that might have been. But, and then this I just sort of loop around because it works as sort of like a radial, so you can get some out of it. So just loop it around you, and then we'll go back to the operating position here. I'm going to sit on this rock. I think this is just as good a spot as any. All right, let me grab my radio and all that. Put this here. Well, let's see, let's put that there. Hope you guys can see the radio. Unfortunately, my external key, there's something going on with it, so I'm going to have to use the key that comes with the Elecraft, or it doesn't come with it, you have to buy it. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Every time I go out on a summit, I have some sort of an issue. So this is the issue today, so far anyway. And there's always camera issues, so. Germany. DL3HXX. I missed it. All right, let's go up a band, just for giggles. All right, I think I'm just going to call it a day, and we'll let that go. It doesn't seem like the bands are getting better as it goes up, so we'll leave it right there. I always like to tell people about this because I think that this area is so cool with the history. So right here, that mountain where I came up the saddle right there behind the tree. Right here in this area are the old mills, the Corbin Mill and the Gird Mill, and they processed ore from the city of Tombstone. And that's where that work was done. Across the street there was Broncow Cabin. That's the deadliest cabin in the Old West. 20-something murders done there by all kinds of different people throughout the history of that place, including Broncow himself. If you look here in this area, you can see all the stand of the cottonwoods. Well, where it goes from here, and then it makes that little turn and heads back west, you can see all that green right there. That green is where the town site of Charleston. You can go in there and see all the ruins and all of that stuff. Very, very cool. And now right here, you can see the railroad, one of the railroads. There were 3 of them, I think, at one point that went through different areas here. And this goes all the way up north here. And if you go, it goes up and then it curves back around. But if you look right here, you won't be able to see it unless I enlarge it. But if you look right here, that's called Boston Mill. That was the mill in Emery City. Emery City was another town here in the Old West. People don't realize how many towns there were. Everybody just thinks there's Tombstone. And if you go north of that a couple of miles, it's the little Boquillas Ranch, which owned all that you can see other than the base there for a while, up until you get the Boba Camari Ranch. But big area of ranch. And then up from that is the town site of Fairbank, which you can actually go visit. There's not much left. And then north of that is another mill, and then the town site of Contention. So if you watched the movie Tombstone, you remember Ike Clanton wanted the trial of the Earps in Contention because he didn't think that they would get a proper trial in Tombstone. Now another cool thing here, if you look at this little mountain here, if you look behind it, you can see that there's a square area all cut out different color. That is an old World War II artillery range that was leased from the Boquillas Ranch for the Buffalo Soldiers, and there are still artillery targets out there. Bureau of Land Management, you can go on to that, but just on the other side of it is Fort Huachuca, and Fort Huachuca extends all the way to the mountains over there. But anyway, just a little bit of history. I can talk about it every day. I love it out here. Love the railroad history, love all the gold mining history. And if you want to see some of that summit right over there is another SOTA summit, and you can actually hike right through the town of Charleston. You can go right through it, go right up that mountain and activate right over there. Very cool. But anyway, I'm going to take my stuff down. I have my end fed here. I'm going to start at that end and start unfurling and putting things away, and then we're going to head on down the mountain. And this terrain around here is all like this, just rocks everywhere. So you just kind of gotta take your time heading down, look for the paths, whatever, because it's like hiking on potentially sharp bowling balls. So just gotta sort of take your time. All right, there's the saddle. So we made pretty good time here, even with the technical difficulties on the camera. It's pretty good. There it is. So started there, worked down to the saddle, came down across that little mine shaft, and right here, and the Jeep is right there, maybe not even a quarter of a mile. All flats and one fence to go. This here is a trail that goes through Arizona. This part of it, I think, is called the Sky Island Traverse, or part of the San Pedro Trail. And this will take you all the way over to the trailhead there in Millville. and it goes all the way up to Emery City.